Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth, and fancy seeing you here, and you are very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, find a pew, chair or sofa, I don't care, get your bums down because we have got Snyder Cut business to talk about. I'm going to read a Screen Rant article in a moment, but first we need to talk about a certain individual, John Campea. John Campea is the thorn in everybody who supports DC movies side, and he always has been. John Campea is one of these people who comes across like he has connections, that he knows people, that he has knowledge. John Campea was the man who said that what was her name? Mary Poppins Returns, remember, was going to kick Aquaman's butt. Do you remember that in the box office? Do you remember that? What happened? Aquaman took his trident and whacked Mary Poppins into touch. It made over $1 billion at a very competitive time, and the movie worked on every level. But John Campea believed that Mary Poppins and Disney would nail it. Because this is the problem when you haven't got an open mind in life. So John Campea has come out and said on one of his podcast shows, whatever, don't care, that the Snyder Cut does not exist. Do you believe that? Nobody else does. Yes, people were denying the Snyder Cut originally after the theatrical cut was released. But Zack Snyder's publicly admitted it, right? We've got actors, and I'm going to read it, we've got actors claiming they haven't had credit for what they've done in Justice League, which is absolutely despicable. But for a prominent pundit, blogger like Campea to come out and deny there's a Snyder Cut, it's just unbelievable. Is it just because he just wants to trigger people so we all talk about him on our videos and our Twitter accounts? I don't know. Now, John, I'd welcome to talk to you on the dceu Daily and explain the situation to you. And there's many prominent dceu fans doing videos and prominent YouTubers who are more successful than I am, who are willing to talk to you and explain to you and show you all the evidence on why there is a Snyder Cut. But it's came out the horse's mouth, John, at SnyderCon. He's admitted there's a Snyder Cut. He's posted something I'm going to read about in a moment, John. Where's the denial coming from? I don't understand. Are you a friend of Kevin Sugihara's? Surely not. I don't think Kevin Sugihara has any friends left in or outside of the industry. So, John, your words are astounding. They're not damaging. They're only damaging to your kind of faltering reputation, because your reputation has been faltering for a very long time. I like you, John. I watch your shows. I think you conduct yourself ever so well. But sometimes you talk utter nonsense. The Snyder Cut is real, John. It's a fact. And if you want to come on this show and you want to talk about it, I'm quite happy to do that, because I'm embarrassed for you. I can't believe you said it. It's ridiculous. Anyway, John, I'm Big Mouth. I'm here. I'm Movies TV Mad on Twitter. I'm Big Mouth. Is it Big Mouth 234 on Instagram? Your eyes may pop out of your head with some of the stuff I get up to on there. But look, find me and we can talk about this on behalf of yourself, who actually claims he liked Man of Steel. I think you love Batman v Superman as well. I'm not sure about that. So you've got good taste, John. So we can be friends, right? We can have a discussion. But saying the Snyder Cut doesn't exist is absolutely ridiculous. Right. Let's look at Stephen M. Colbert from Screen Rant's latest article on the Snyder Cut. Zack Snyder seemingly confirms Justice League's rumoured Darkseid actor. Now, there are a couple of actors who have come out now saying they didn't get credit for their roles on Justice League. So let's have a look. Zack Snyder's cut of Justice League was recently confirmed to exist. There you go, John. John, Mr. Campea, I hope you're still watching. Listen carefully. So it was recently confirmed to exist. And we've previously learned that Darkseid had a big role in the over 2 hours of missing footage. But we now know who Snyder cast to play the role of the Lord of Apocalypse. After Zack Snyder shot 100% of principal photography and directed several months of post-production work on Justice League, he was replaced by Joss Whedon, one of the grossest acts a studio or studio head has ever done to a director, by the way, who implemented major script rewrites. Yes, the rewrites were, let's be like the MCU. That worked out well, didn't it? During late in production reshoots, the resulting movie still failed to gain praise from critics and marked the low point for the entire DCU at the box office. This film wasn't just the low point at the box office. He destroyed something that would have been truly special if Kevin Sugihara was removed by Warner Brothers and its board of directors and allowed Zack's film to come out. In the 16 months since release, more and more details have come out about the Snyder Cut of Justice League. Would it look like? And we now know that it has at least 2 hours, probably more, of footage not in Whedon's theatrical cut. And it would have featured Darkseid in a fairly significant role. Not as a cameo, but a fairly significant role. Which would have been awesome, let's be honest. Who doesn't love DC? Who doesn't love these characters and wouldn't want to see Darkseid in a Justice League or a DC movie? With Zack Snyder confirming that the Snyder Cut exists, it stands to reason someone was chosen to help bring Darkseid to life in those missing scenes. Last week, the Film Exiles podcast, thank you Film Exiles, by the way, you are awesome, that's me saying that, reported via an anonymous source that Snyder used actor and audiobook reader Ray Porter to create Darkseid, and now Snyder is promoting Porter on the social network Vero. It just gets better and better, doesn't it? It really does. It sounds like Zack can now do what he wants and he has no restrictions. But I have a theory about that as well. While it's not an explicit confirmation between Porter liking tweets from fans on Twitter and Snyder replying for Darkseid in the comments for his Ray Porter introduction post on Vero, it's safe to say he's corroborating the report. Snyder's representative and Ray Porter have not yet responded to a request for the comment. At the end of the day, right, Zack Snyder posts a picture of Ray Porter on his Vero. What do you think he's trying to say? He's doing what he can. He's still got a contract and laws not to break via Warner Brothers, so he's got to be very careful. With an actor like Ciarán Hinds cast as Steppenwolf, which was an amazing voice performance, by the way. Whatever you say, you know, Ciarán Hinds was brilliant. It's surprising Snyder wouldn't have looked for a bigger name for Darkseid. Hang on a minute, it's not surprising. I've gone back since this news has come out and I've looked at this actor's other performances in the past. He would have been an awesome Darkseid. End of. Anyway. Presuming he even had any dialogue, the big bad took more of a background role in Justice League, including a confrontation with Ares during the history lesson flash, similar to Sauron's depiction in the Fellowship of the Rings. So there may not have been a need to cast a known actor just yet. Well, to be honest with you, you're not going to really see what he looks like anyway. It's not about being a known actor. That is ridiculous. So I love this guy, but I don't agree with what he's saying there. Still, it's not clear if any of Darkseid's scenes required dialogue. An actor's only reaction to the news is that he was to honour his non-disclosure agreement. So it may not be until an eventual release of the Snyder Cut that we know his full participation. Even Doomsday and Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice had a credited voice actor, so there's a wide range of possible levels of involvement for Porter. If Snyder originally intended for Darkseid's role to be a surprise, it makes sense for him to choose a name that would fly under the radar. It's not a surprise anymore though, is it? Why didn't they just release the man's cut and then say, you know, Zack, see ya, we're doing something else now. Yeah, that would have been acceptable. Porter has many vocal qualities. One, that's what I just said. one would want in Darkseid, with a steely tone reminiscent of many previous versions of Darkseid, particularly Michael Ironside's depiction in DC animation, such as the popular Justice League Unlimited. I love the animated series, by the way. So it's understandable why he was chosen. Snyder is also known for his eye for talent, casting a number of lesser-known actors in his films, most notably giving Ray Fisher his first Hollywood role as Cyborg, and I thought Ray was brilliant as Cyborg, by the way, even in the theatrical cut. There are good things in the theatrical cut, but, you know, that's not the point. We should have got Zack's cut as the theatrical cut. It's ridiculous. In Justice League, so Porter wouldn't be the most surprising of his casting decisions. So that's that for that article. Look, it's becoming very apparent that this cut of this film is going to be released. There's so much information. So what do I think is going on behind the scenes? Look, Kevin Sugihara was sacked because he sacked Zack Snyder. Forget about him sleeping with this woman. He didn't sexually harass this woman when he gave her a role. They literally consented. They had sex. He gave a role or roles or whatever, right? It's nothing to do with that. That's just a fake smoking gun. Sugihara was fired because of the failure of Justice League and because of his insane decisions. It seems to me that Warner Brothers have reversed their mentality towards Zack Snyder and his Justice League cut. And I think it's very interesting how all these people are suddenly coming out saying they weren't credited. They weren't credited, not because of Warner Brothers as a studio as a whole, but because of Sugihara, Kevin Sugihara's decisions. So that is all going to turn around. Those people will be credited. But this is just great for people like us fighting for this cut. And I mean, when you think about that, you know, actors not being credited, that's disgusting. They're not credited in IMDb and they weren't credited on the credits of the film. You know, that's embarrassing for the studio. And this is why, you know, Sugihara was fired. There's no question about that. All these decisions will be turned around. But the big decision we have to quickly discuss is, how will this film be released? Will it be released on Blu-ray, 4K? I want it in my possession as soon as possible. But I can't just think about myself here. This is a film with over 2 hours of new footage. This film could potentially be 3 hours. It could be as long as Avengers Endgame. Now, this is very interesting. So, is it cinema release, home release, streaming release? What's going to happen? How is this film going to make money? Well, I'm very suspicious. I've been suspicious from the very beginning that Warner Brothers wanted to release this cut for a long time now. And Zack on Vero releasing this stuff, the kind of Morse code situation has been fun and everything. But I do kind of suspect that Warner Brothers, not Sugihara, because Sugihara wanted to turn the DCEU into the MCU. That's what he wanted. He was sacked because of what he did and what he did to Zack. And the embarrassment he caused to Warner Brothers as a studio with that cut of Justice League he allowed to release. He wanted a cut of 2 hours or under. He allowed that film to go out with that terrible CGI on Henry's upper lip, which was an embarrassment for Henry. And this is why I keep on imploring people to stop posting that picture of Henry's upper lip and that picture in the opening scene of Justice League. Because it's not about Warner Brothers or Kevin Sugihara. It's an embarrassing thing for Henry. I know he's made a joke out of it and everything, but it's not fair on Henry. I will retweet anything on my Twitter, Movies TV Man, @Movies TV Man. I will not retweet any pictures of Henry and that upper lip. I want to support the Snyder Cut, but I won't support anyone who puts Superman or Henry Cavill in a bad light. I'm a Superman fan, and that moment is a horrible moment in the history of Superman, in a part of Henry's career. So, you know, we don't even know if Henry's going to continue to play Superman. So I'd implore people to stop posting that picture, because it's hurtful to me and it's embarrassing for the icon that Superman is. So what do you think? Should the Snyder Cut be released as a home video? A proper theatrical release for a month, like an ordinary film would be? what is the best thing for this film? Well, I think there's more than national interest. There is global interest in the Snyder Cut. Everybody knows what the Snyder Cut is. Thanks to you lot. Thanks to all you passionate DC, Zack Snyder, DCEU fans for taking this fight cleanly, doing the great things, not being aggressive, not swearing, but being intelligent. What you've been doing with all your retweets on Twitter, all your wonderful videos, you know, people like Dave the Screen Junkie, Chris Wong Svensson at Ping Pong Flicks. These are beautiful people that have created something amazing, you know, fighting against a corporate entity that made a bad decision. And now, thanks to you, they know they made the bad decision. The Snyder Cut is coming. And John Campea, I hope you've learned something. I'm always here to educate.